Welcome to South Sumter High School's School Improvement Plan hearing. My name is Evelyn Weber. I'm going to be one of the presenters. I first would like to recognize some of our special guests. I have Ms. Sandra Clark, who's one of our SAC committee parents. Just give a wave. She's right up here. Thank you. Our school board members, Ms. Chris Norris, Mr. Hayden Evans, Ms. Linda Winchester, Mr. Ken Jones, and I did not see Kathy come in, correct? Okay.
Not here yet.
Not here yet? Okay. Also, our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Rick Shirley, and Senior Director, Debbie Moffitt, and welcome to all the other district members as well, and staff of South Sumter High School, and students. Okay. We believe that all students can learn, working as a team to provide a comprehensive educational program for all students to learn critical skills for lifelong learning and success. We are preparing the next generation today at South Sumter High School. Our leadership team consists of department heads, guidance counselors, educational specialists, and administration. Our SAC committee is a representation of our school demographics with parents, teachers, administration, paraprofessionals, and students. Our student demographics has changed slightly over the past few years as it represents the 1,000+ students at South Sumter High School. Now, I would like to welcome Mrs. Barbara DeJurgis, our Language Arts Department Chair, and Mrs. Melissa Simmons, our reading coach.
This is a graph representing our FCAT data, and as you can see, the light pink is 2014. We are really proud of this graph. Mastery level 3 or higher, we have 58% of our students at that level. Levels 4 and 5, we've made gains with that. That is the hardest group to maintain and to make gains because they're already at the top. So we put them, a couple of years ago, we decided 4s and 5s needed to have a reading class at least one semester. So that's worked out very well. Learning gains, we made a 9-point jump in 1 year. And the lowest quartile learning gains is 16 points in 1 year. These are reading subgroups for FCAT. The two groups that made the biggest jumps were the African American and students with disabilities. As you know, we have a new test coming this year called the FSA, or the Florida Standards Assessment. I worked with Evelyn and we decided that we would increase our goals, the FCAT goals that we had previously. We're going to add 5%. We don't know how we're going to compare to apples to oranges, but we want to make gains, so these are our goals for this year. All right, some of the strategies in reading. We have lots of them. The Achieve 3000 is now the bulk of our curriculum. Students are completing 2 articles per week in the computer lab and then another stretch article in the thought questions in class. So they're using higher level articles that are based on the Florida standards 3 to 4 times a week just with Achieve. DBQs for literature, we're really excited about this. These are new this year. They're document-based questions. It's an inquiry-based unit that culminates in evidence-based argument essays after every unit. Word of the week, we've changed that up a bit. We used to use SAT and ACT level words. We're going to be focusing on the critical academic words for mastering the Florida standards. A lot of our kids, when I went in quiz, they don't know what analyze, delineate, they don't know what those words mean. So when they get to the test, they won't know what the question's asking them. So that's the biggest thing, is we need them to understand what is the question asking them. So we're focusing on that vocabulary. Avid strategies. We use the critical reading strategies in reading classes with avid weekly articles. The kids are using current event articles that are written at or above grade level and applying the critical reading strategies to those articles. Key engagement is a new program this year, and we're just starting to delve into it. It's a leveled unit program. It sort of reminds me of the Achieve and DBQs all together. Students can have a low, medium, high, or an ACT level article. And they have technical writings, and then at the end they have to write an essay based on all of the things, comparing and contrasting, so that it ties in with Barb's writing portion, so they're seeing FSA style questions.
One thing to add about the AVID strategies, that the teachers in their PLCs, our teachers are presenting AVID strategies to us that have worked in their classroom, or that they've tweaked and have found that maybe it doesn't work here and it does work here. We also had a gallery walk as part of our 197th day. The AVID teachers each presented a strategy, and all of us came in and left comments for them, and then chose one of the strategies that would work best within our classroom. So we're actually putting that to use.
For this school year, we're continuing our flexible reading groups where the kids are grouped based on their needs and weaknesses, so the teachers are working with them, getting differentiated instruction. We're continuing our AR program, our technology, we have lots of that. Our Zine Zone, our magazine program, we're continuing that, it's very popular. One of the new things that I'm really happy about is the 20 literacy strategies. It's a research-based book on Common Core FSA style strategies that kids apply. You just start at the basics, then you work their way up so that by the end they can do all of the standards under the English language arts. And the critical vocabulary for the Common Core is the word of the week, but we're also doing that in class. So the kids are practicing those, using them, understanding what it means in a question so they can actually answer questions using those words.
Okay, practice using Right Score, which is going to be given 3 times this year. This is going to help the teachers evaluate and head off any major problems. And prior to this point, we've had, or 2 years ago, we had a Saturday workshop, and last year we instituted pulling the first semester English students for 2 days before the writing section to review, and we found this to be very, very helpful. They're focused on referring to the text for support of their answers. So this worked really well for us last time around. Okay, FCAT writing grade 10. While we see that the scores for 2012 are high, very high, and everything seems to have dropped since then, but the problem is the 2012 score was the last year they scored in the old mode. So the percentages dropped in 2013, but as you can see, they have substantially risen for 2014. And please note here that we're ahead of both the county and the state average with this. So what's going to happen this year remains to be seen. We're aiming high. That's about it. I'd like to introduce Mr. Jonathan Forrester, who will continue for the math department.
Right, that's on that side, right? Okay, so as you can see, our Algebra 1 geometry in-course tests have been steadily increasing. It's really good. We've got our goals for this year will be to have 77% of all students proficient on the EOC in algebra and geometry. We've trying to get 46% will be performing at a level 4 or 5, which are the highest 2 levels on the in-course test for both algebra and geometry. And we'd like to have 65% of all students proficient on the Algebra 2 in-course test. Some of the math strategies that we're going to use this year are we are going to continue to offer AP Calculus and also AP Statistics in the math department. We'd like to add intermediate algebra, and we'd also possibly like to add college algebra so that we can get college level credit for some of the students who are very good at math. We're going to do PERT testing for fall and spring semesters, and we're encouraging our AVID students to take more rigorous programs to increase their rigor in courses, which is one of the AVID strategies that we generally use. Level 1 students are enrolled in Algebra 1 year-long, and that gives them more time to absorb the algebra if they're having difficulties with it. And we use a technology-based curriculum called Agile Minds. Level 2 students are enrolled in year-round Algebra 1, and they also use Agile Minds for a support mechanism. Got left click, go back, there we go. All right, students who didn't pass the Algebra 1 EOC are provided remediation. We offer a liberal arts mathematics, which is a accredited class with Algebra Nation. It's a little bit, it's a rehash of the Algebra 1 curriculum so that they get more exposure to it and they get better at their algebra skills. We are implementing the new Florida standards. We're doing learning-focused strategies. And we have content area vocabulary strategies. Personally, I give a vocabulary quiz every week in my classrooms to all of my geometry and Algebra 2 students. We encourage the students to take Cornell notes, which is another avid strategy which we are trying to encourage to get them to take good notes in class to get ready for college. We are doing some technology-based formative assessments, which the county has given to us, and we generally provide those on a computer. We flip classrooms. Some teachers flip their classrooms. We have math competitions in the higher level math courses like AP Statistics and AP Calculus, and we do Math Field Day, Math Olympics. They say Math Olympics, but every time I say that I get corrected. It's Math Olympics. And we also have a science fair. We continue to involve with Lake Sumter State College with the Rise Summer Academy to help students become college ready. Any questions? Okay, then I'd like to present Ms. Karen Ray for the Science Department.
These are our biology EOC results for the past 3 years, and as you can see, we are steadily improving our proficiency rate with our students. This year, our goals are to have 73% of our students proficient in biology, with 19% performing at level 4 or level 5. We have a new AP class we've added to our science discipline. It is our AP Physics. It will be offered this spring. We have a chemistry honors class taught by Mr. Noe, who partners with Avid. And then Mr. Noe is also our department's Avid liaison, so he brings Avid strategies to our PLC meetings so we can share and see what works for us and adapt and use them in our classrooms. We are still partnering with CMEX on the Seek Center in Center Hill. Say that fast. We have a science fair that we have at our school level in December. We have all 9th, 10th, and 11th grade science students participating either in a project-based or research-based fair. We also have had 3 groups of students go to the Nature Coast and Marathon. All 3 won in different categories, and 1 went to the state level representing Sumter County. And then we have our International Science Fair team. Several went to state level and international. And then we had some that even participated in our agri-science fair, state level and international level in Kentucky. And Ms. Danielle Stewart will talk about history.
Over the last 2 years, we've seen a 6% increase from our juniors on their U.S. history state-mandated test, which is impressive considering the amount of time you teach American history on a block schedule. It's a very fast-paced course, and so we're very happy with the results from our U.S. history teachers. In the social studies department, we no longer teach honors courses. The honors courses offerings are AP. The Social Studies Department carries the bulk of the AP course offerings here at South Sumter High School. Our newest addition will be AP Human Geography, which rolls out in January to our 9th grade students. This will be their first experience with AP as a freshman. So we're excited to be offering that new course. Going back to the EOC, it is our goal to continue to improve to a 70% pass rate with our juniors, earning a 3 or higher. In regards to our AP classes, I'd like to recognize Ms. Mara Ramuni as being an AP Scholar last year, passing 3 AP courses, AP Psych, AP Gov, and AP US History, which is very impressive to take that all your senior year and then pass. We are very proud of Mara and the success she had in our courses. In the Social Studies Department, we are continuing to use DBQs. Many of our AP classes were already implementing them, and now we are moving them to our freshman and sophomore courses. As previously mentioned, we are adding AP Human Geography. Now, as part of our reviews in this department, we use Study Island as well as Core Solutions. Many of our teachers are well known within the community, and they have many connections which allow us to have many guest speakers come in and enrich our curriculum with real life experiences that they wouldn't get from their textbook. So that's always a good break from getting away from the book and talking to people out there living social studies. In regards to EOCs and AP, many of our teachers stay after school, sometimes on their own time, working with kids, helping them to achieve success, and so we will continue that both before and after school for our students. And I'd like to welcome Ms. Karen Rayback to introduce CTE.
Okay, our CTE programs are designed to help prepare students in the working environment. We want to try to increase our enrollment by about 10%. We also want to increase the number of students taking the industry certification by 5 to 10%. We do have one certification we're trying to work on, and that's with our agricultural communications certification. That has not happened yet, but they are working diligently to try to make that happen. The goals are to increase the rigor and relevance in the CTE classes. We have 2 new programs. We have an Ag Biotech and we have a biomedical program that has kicked off. And those courses are considered intensive lab classes, and they are weighted credit courses. Ms. Stewart, you're next.
As an AP teacher, it's exciting to see how our AP course offerings are impacting our students and changing our culture here at South Sumter High School. In 2012 to 2013 academic year, we had 110 students take an AP test. Well, last year, that number increased significantly to 373 tests being offered. Last year, many of these AP courses were in their first year, like AP World History, Gov, Studio Art, and Calc, all of which saw some success. But as we continue on here at South Sumter High School, it's important to keep in mind how these classes are increasing in student numbers, and that can affect what your pass rate looks like on a graph. And so look at AP Psychology for just a moment, because this is what I teach, so this is what I'll use as an example. In 2013, I had 31 students in my class. One section was offered. I had 21 students pass their test, which gave me a pass rate of 71%. Well, if you look at 2014, it looks like my class took a dive in regards to pass rate. Well, actually, I had more students pass last year than I did the year before. I had 2 sections of AP Psychology with a total of 44 students, but I had 28 students pass, giving me a pass rate of 63%. So as our classes fluctuate from year to year, as will our pass rate, but we are very proud of our students and our teachers for taking on the challenge of being an AP student as well as an AP teacher. Of course, college readiness is something we strive here at South Sumter High School. We do have students who have not met the college ready requirements, and so we work with them in many areas such as performance, tasking, standards for mathematical practices. We offer reading for college readiness. Many of our classes will again turn to Study Island for help in remediation. We are happy to be offering the SAT to all juniors this year in conjunction with the Florida Partnership, and we will also be having PSAT very, very soon as well. And Rise Academy is something we started this last year in helping students get college ready and remediation in conjunction with Lake Sumter State College, which was very successful, and we're happy to be continuing that this year. It is my pleasure now to introduce someone besides Karen Ray. Miss Kaylee Martin and Daisha McMiller will speak to you regarding our school's AVID program. So, ladies.
Hello, I am Kaylee Martin. This is my third year in the AVID program at South Sumter High School. And when this program first started out, it was one ninth grade class. And as the years progressed, we were adding more. So last year it consisted of 2 ninth grade classes and 2 10th grade classes. And this year our class is linked with chemistry honors. And our sophomore class is linked with AP World History, and our AVID 1 class is linked with English honors. I'm here to talk about what I think stands out in the AVID program and what South Sumter High School focuses on. And we focus a lot on our binder and tutorials. Our binder is basically our life, and it keeps all of our work from every class and every note we take, every utensil we use, and it just kind of keeps us together. In our tutorials, we focus on our POCs, which are points of confusion in each class. So say if we have a test coming up or we have a worksheet that's due and we need to know something that we don't already know, we bring it up in our class and we discuss it in our little groups and we figure it out. What stands out most to me in our AVID program is the bond that we share. And I feel like as a student, when you are in a classroom, one of the most important things is the bond with your students and your fellow students and your teacher. And I feel with that kind of bond, it allows you to be more open-minded and be more focused on what you need to know and how to express yourself. With our AVID program, we've undergone a lot of changes these past years. From our first AVID teacher to our second AVID teacher, who now just had a baby. So now we have Miss Salente, our coach Sue. And I just think it's important that as we have progressed, that we still stay strong and that everyone is still backing us. And it's just a great program. And I am really happy that I have it in my life.
Hi, I'm Shardisha McMiller, and just to branch off of what my fellow classmates said, AVID is a really great program, and just like she said, my binder is my life. And one thing in my binder that has really helped me out is my planner. Like keeping up with important dates and all that stuff. It's hard when you don't have a planner and you're not taking care of what you need to as being a student. And my planner has helped me by, first of all, like if I have tests, if I need to study over the weekend, anything like community service hours, studying and all that stuff, my planner has been a really big help to me. Also, something that's new to AVID and new to us classmates is having our own personal AVID mentor. That has helped by having someone there to push you on and motivate you about your grades. Like for instance, if you had a C in the class, you know, we have some teachers that are not like on you how they should be or how we should be on ourselves. And having our own personal mentor is great because they help push you and they help you in the class that you need help with. And so like they'll stay after school with you if you need it and all that good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. That was wonderful. Now we're going to look at attendance. We know by reducing the number of attendances for students will also help us increase the number of students that are college ready. This past year, the percentage of students who had 21 or more unexcused absences was down to 2%. So our goals for this year is that we are going to go on and continue to reduce the number of unexcused absences by 25% of a target group. The target group is based on students from last year who had 10 or more unexcused absences. And right now, on my target group, I think we have about 180 that we're working with. We're also going to work on the accuracy of documentation in the Skyward program. Yes, I was going to make a comment about that, but it was going to be good. Okay. And now our attendance strategies seem to be working. So what we're going on, we had a PBS meeting, and the committee wanted to go on and change some of the things that we're doing with PBS. So we want to redesign the posters that we have, our tickets. We're going with neon green to go green, and we're going to be setting up a box, a ticket box here in the cafeteria with a bulletin board that will highlight the prizes that we're offering, and also to go along and talk about our showcases to students that have the most PBS tickets. This is our out-of-school and in-school suspension from the RTIB. The past 2 years we have risen slightly. We're hoping this year by continuing to work together we can start to reduce some of those numbers. Dropout and graduation rates. In school year 13-14, our dropout rate went down by 1.9%, and our graduation rate went up by 3% to 81. Our goals are to increase our graduation rate by 10% to 89%, as well as our at-risk rate to 72%. We will decrease our dropout rate by 10% to 1.6. We plan to decrease our dropout rate by referring struggling students to the MTSS program, offering grad point for students to make up credits, and providing attendance incentives. Now, I would like to present Dr. Morgan.
Thank you. A couple of things I want to point out real quick. One is our SAC chairman arrived, Mr. Mitchell in the back. We appreciate the help we've had from over the years. He's been reappointed president many times. I can't remember, but he's been a very valuable member for us. We appreciate you coming forward. Joel and I wanted to give Evelyn a chance to show you how much she's done at this school and give her ample credit for what she's done to put this program together. We appreciate it. And obviously, the attendance category, you can see the impact it's had on truancy. But for me, if you're looking at these graphs, I'm like you sit there and sometimes it just kind of gets mind-numbing. You can't overlook the fact that for the first time since I've been here, in every category, in math, in science, in social studies, in reading, in writing, in every subgroup, there was an improvement from the year before. And I know there's the critics that will immediately say, well, you're below the state average in some areas, not accept that. But when you improve from the last year's performance to this year, when the standards are getting harder every year, the expectations are shifting, I think it says something for the hard-working staff doing to stay on top and keep producing positive results. And there's other indicators I think if you blew through it real quick, you might have overlooked. Graduation rates up, dropout rates down. Discipline is a big issue for us. We try to stay on top of it, and I think for the people that do the math, 5% of our students are causing all of our multiple long-form offenses. Less than 5%. For a school, that means 95% of our kids are doing exactly what we want them to do. And I think that says a lot for South Central High School. For me, though, that's just like badges on the trophy walk or trophies in the case. It's just indicators of the hard work. South Sumter High School is more than statistics. And I think that's the message that we want to get across today. It continues to be a kind of an important driving force that this is a family. Rick graduated from here, I graduated from here, a lot of our teachers graduated from here, and the people that have come to us have become members of that family and realize how passionate we are about selling that notion. And for you, on the outside looking in, one of the biggest indicators was what happened this past week. We had a homecoming week. Now, everybody talks about all the rigorous classrooms we've blown up at it. We have all kinds of AP courses, all kinds of dual enrollment courses. Our scores are phenomenal. But last week, we did it in the midst of a homecoming atmosphere that's been here since I was in high school. We had dress-up days, we had bonfires, we had fireworks, we had 3 home football games, we put running clocks on all 3 opponents in the middle of homecoming activities, which coaches and kids almost impossible to do. We had something for me that culminated in the last activity I think is a real indication of the tolerant, positive atmosphere that's at South Sumter High School. We have a student council representative, Becky Weaver, and all of our student council members worked for days changing this cafeteria into what they call an enchanted forest. The picture absolutely doesn't do justice. They had this place turned into something that kids were really enthusiastic about. And since I can remember, I don't know of a time that we had that many kids attend something at 90s. We had over 600 kids in this area. It was packed. And they thumped and danced and carried on for 4 hours until my head was hurting. But they had a good time. They're tolerant, they're good kids, and I think that's kind of the message we're trying to put out there. So I think these teachers deserve a hand. What do you say? Our students, we threw this on these 2 girls at the last minute. We thought it would be nice if a student would get up and talk about it, since that's an important program here. And they did that and did a wonderful job. I think we gave you, 3 or 4 hours prep time, something like that. It's just an indication of what we think is important in South Sumter High School. So I appreciate your time. We do want to finish with one final note. Rick pointed this out to you. We receive a lot of stuff, and sometimes you overlook the obvious. And when national magazine that has the credibility of U.S. News and World Report has, they do an independent study that we didn't solicit, and they looked at over 40,000 high schools. And they decided that in Florida, the 300 or 400 that they looked at, there was a few that received recognition. In South Sumter High School, we received the bronze medal. We would rather have gold. We think that we probably would earn gold this year. If you pay attention to the points, we're right on top of an A again, which is kind of a phenomenal thing for a public high school these days. There's a good chance that Rick's going to have to buy me a state dinner, because if we get the right bonus points and the right things turn up, we could be an A. Now, we may fall 4 or 5 points short because the bar suddenly was raised over 100 points. And if it had been last year's standards, we'd have been in the A category easily. But now we're going to have to wait and see what the state gives us in bonus points and things, and maybe you'll still have the state. So we're just kind of holding our breath. But I think that's worth mentioning. That's something that you don't see every day. A little country school in the middle of nowhere. Appreciate you coming, I'm sure, as a group. Rick?
I'm sure. Let's start if we can, Dr. Morgan, board members, see if they have any comments or questions. Just put them down here, if you don't mind.
Excellent. I'm going to reference my comments from the student perspective. First of all, the challenges are always in place every day. Whether they're in the realm of the students, the state, the district, superintendent, whomever, but you provide the resources that you need for the students to be successful. But the young lady that spoke, I'm sorry, what was the last name? Right. Said the bond in the classroom is what makes it happen. The bond between staff at the school is what makes the difference sometimes. All the resources in the world, if the connectivity is not there, it makes a difference. and compliment you on all the programs that you're offering, the things that this county provides, and things that you find and bring into your school. Because in the end, that's what makes the difference for the children, because you push them and you motivate them as much as you can, and then they look in and they amaze you at what they can do. I see it, I see it. So congratulations on improving in all categories, Dr. Morgan. And your bronze status, that's wonderful, to be recognized nationally. I couldn't be prouder of Sumter High School. I'm proud of the students. Thank you for your participation today. And thank you to all the teachers and staff and parents in the community who make a difference in this school. Thank you very, very much.
Let me just say that the AVID program would not be where it's at if it wasn't for the instructors who have taken this on, taken it positive, and have put into full force in the rest of this program. Girls, I commend you for being able to have a 3-hour notice and be able to come up with a speech and stand up for us. That took a lot of courage, obviously. School's going in great places. I also graduated from this school, but it was Bushnell High School freshman when I graduated. Thank you all for the work you do.
Well, I wore red today in honor of South Sumter High School. You've covered a lot of ground in your presentation, but I know your expectations are high. Our expectations as a whole are high. You've got to move into the A category again, and I believe you will at this point. The situation with the school grading, I think, is in turmoil as far as I'm concerned. Rick can elaborate on that more if you feel it would be appropriate. So I'm not looking forward to early class grades. I'm looking forward to real class grades or school grades. So we as a board and the administrators wish to provide meaningful support for any of your needs during this school year. You know, we're already 2 months into the school year. That's unbelievable. Where I come from, school doesn't start until about this time, so, up in New Jersey. But again, you covered a lot of ground, and I believe that a lot of thought has gone into it. I like your comments on the math aspect of it, and what we may accomplish or want to accomplish. I think is very, very critical, very important. So just thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the refreshments. They were delicious. Who made them?
My husband.
He's aggravated that.
Yes, he is.
So thank you.
I want to thank you for a great plan, and if you didn't excel in every aspect of our school system, we would not be the bronze. We would not have that bronze standing, and I think that's just proof of how every aspect of the school system here operates. And for your knowledge, Doreen and I graduated from here. I cheered and she twirled in front of that same stadium that's sitting there today. Not stadium, bleachers. They were moved from our old field to this one. I had to put that in. I'm sorry. I put that in. But it was South Sumter High School when we graduated. Although Dr. Morgan is a little older than us, he was here when we were also, but anyway, we enjoyed it here then, and we still do.
Okay, comments from staff?
Also, first of all, great job, ladies. Every time we can put a face to a program name, it becomes real life. So I'm glad that you shared a little bit about AVID. I loved that the math department mentioned encouraging the AVID students to take more rigorous courses, because that's the point of the AVID elective, is to help support them in their more rigorous courses. So you ladies know, if you have easy classes, you don't have questions for tutorials. So you need to make sure that you guys keep pushing yourselves and your peers. And we're excited to see where the AVID data takes us, as you are our first graduating class next year. Also, I'm glad that Ms. Stewart mentioned the AP pass rate versus AP participation, because South Sumter High took a huge leap in participation, and it makes their pass rate look lower. But I'm glad that she pointed out just one specific example, because in some areas they more than tripled the amount of tests that they were taking. And then last but not least, the Summer Rise Academy. I had the opportunity to work closely with Lake Sumter on kind of the behind-the-scenes data collection, and it's a great partnership for you guys to have and to increase that middle of the gap student that isn't college ready, but we can get college ready. So great job.
Thank you.
I'll go next. I was pleased to see the reading and language arts department actually presenting together as a team. Yeah, that was the first. That's what it's going to take to tackle those real standards.
Touchdown.
Just staff comments?
Just want to say, as always, South Sumter's a great team. They provide such quality professionals in the educational field and produce such quality students out into college and careers, and just feel very fortunate to be a part of this community. And Miss McKinney went home sick, or she'd be here.
Other staff comments? All right, wow. One or two, if I may. I want to congratulate you, obviously, on a good school improvement plan, and I think Doc's right. I may owe him a steak.
Have that on. Hey, I have it on video.
You're pretty close to being an A. I don't know what's going to happen, because those programs have gremlins, you know, and things happen when they do the final calculations. But I think you're pretty close. Whether you make it according to the state's definition or not, we know that you guys do a good job every year.
I think it should be our staff that has the steak dinner provided.
Answer that question. Answer the question.
I think that's really a good idea, and I think at the end of the year, instead of that chicken thing he usually does, because I know what his internal account budget is, and he can buy steaks for everybody. I'm getting hard of hearing him all day.
I was trying to get him to answer, Miss Oswald.
Anyway, certainly want to thank you for that. And, you know, one of the things Doc just kind of casually mentioned, there's a lot of truth to it. You have a well-behaved staff and a well-behaved student body. In fact, the student body is better behaved. No, I won't say that. But, I'm kidding. You have a great student body. I've seen assemblies where you have 1,000 kids in that gym, or worse, out on the football field in the middle of the heat, and they are impeccably behaved. I can assure you that does not happen in every high school in Florida. So you have a good faculty who supervise those students and keep them under control. So thank you for that, Doc. Appreciate your leadership. And Doc has matured over time. I have to tell you, back in the high school days when he talked about firecrackers, there were firecrackers during homecoming week. It was usually him flushing them down the toilet with cherry bombs and all that stuff. So it has changed. He's matured over age. You know. He still has a penchant for shooting off fireworks, however, and I do have to caution him every year that we have a 16,000-gallon diesel tank right over there on the other side of the baseball field, and to please aim those fireworks in a different direction at homecoming. And so far, he's been okay with that. As far as the test stuff that's coming up, I don't know what to tell you. Doreen was at a meeting today. You know, we're going to try to do the best we can. We have to follow the law. Even if we don't agree with it. They don't ask you anywhere whether you agree with the law. We just have to follow the law. And we're going to try our best to do that. I know that whatever those scores are this upcoming year, we'll deal with it. You know, I was going to coach. And when I coach hitting, one of the things I learned, you might see a player that has a dozen things wrong with him batting. Well, when a ball's coming at you 90 miles an hour, you really can't coach them to fix 12 things simultaneously. You work on one thing. Usually you get their feet right or their head right. And after they do that, you work on the other parts
one part at a time over time. And then you can fix a lot, but it doesn't happen immediately. I suspect when this test comes out, we're going to kind of be in that same boat. We might see a lot of moving parts that need to be fixed. I also know we can't fix them all at one time. We can't. And so we'll have to pick out those things that are most strategic, most important, most flagrant, most obvious, and we'll work on those. And over time, I suspect that even with the new tests and the new standards and new goals, we'll be able to, as a district, as Sumter High School, get better and improve on that over time. Congratulations on the bronze award. That is a big deal. I mean, it truly is a big deal. That's not something you go seeking. That's something they come and find you. And this is the only school in the county that received it. That's significant on many levels, that this is the only school in the county that received that. So congratulations, Doc. Thank you for your leadership, all your APs, AP interns, staff members. You guys do a good job every day. We know that. The board knows that. And so I just want to thank you for that. Appreciate this report. You guys deserve a pat on the back, and so I want to give you that. The steak dinner will come, remember, end of the year. That internal account thing, Doc, remember that.
Well, one thing I do want to point out, that we've had a new member to our family that's helped us out a lot. He's learning his ropes and getting his feet on the ground with these country students of ours around here, but he's doing a great job with Jerry Graybill in the back. You haven't met him, some of the board members may not know him, but he's Joe and I, Nevin's sidekick. He's starting to figure his way around. He's coming from a district that was similar to ours, and we're fortunate to have him because he's fitting right in and it's been a real benefit to us. Appreciate it.
All I can tell you is I know his previous superintendent well. He was principal of middle school at Cincinnati and moved off and came back and all that stuff. And when I called the superintendent, he said, I don't know anything bad to tell you about. Now, since that time, every time he talks to me, he asks me if I fired him. For whatever that means. But we're glad to have you as part of this too. Anybody else have comments? Staff members, board members? Thank you all. Thanks for your hospitality, as always. Evelyn, thank your husband for us. Yes. Well done. Great job. All right. Thank you all. Thanks, Josh.